In the diagram below, we know that lines A, B, and C intersect at point O. We know that the measure of angle 1 and angle 6 are both 70 degrees, and we want to know the measures of angles 4 and 5. In our picture, again, we know that the measure of angle 1 and measure of angle 6 are both 70 degrees. If we investigate this, we can find the measure of the other two angles. One way we can investigate this is if we look at line C, we can see that angle 1, 6, and 5 together form a straight line, and the sum of the angles must add up to 180 degrees. Therefore, the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 6 plus the measure of angle 5 must equal 180 degrees. We know that the measure of angle 1 and the measure of angle 6 are both 70 degrees. Therefore, we can find that last or the third angle, the measure of angle 5, since our sum must be 180 degrees. Therefore, we see that we have 180 degrees is equal to 140 degrees plus the measure of angle 5, giving us the measure of angle 5 to be 40 degrees. Therefore, we could eliminate A as an option and eliminate D as an option. Therefore, we now need to figure out the measure of angle 4. Well, one way we can investigate this angle is we can look at line A. And if we look at line A, we'll see that angles 6, 5, and 4 also form a straight line. Therefore, the measure of angle 6 plus the measure of angle 5 plus the measure of angle 4 must equal 180 degrees. Since we know the measure of angle 6 is 70 degrees and the measure of angle 5 is 40 degrees, we want to know what we would have to add to that sum in order to get to 180 degrees. We would see that we now have 110 degrees accounted for, and we want to know what is the measure of angle 4, so the sum of measure of angle 4 plus 110 degrees equals 180 degrees. Therefore, we'll see that the measure of angle 4 must equal 70 degrees. This gives us B as our answer. Another way that we could have solved for the measure of angle 4 is we would use the idea of our two intersecting lines, lines A and line C. We would call angle 1 and angle 4 vertical angles, or angles that are formed by two intersecting lines. We would also know that angle 1 must be congruent to angle 4, since vertical angles are congruent. Therefore, since the measure of angle 1 is congruent to the measure of angle 4, we would know that the measure of angle 4 was 70 degrees.